Alright, so you know what? I decided to do a little playthrough, two-player playthrough of Madoshi, Priests of the Sun and Moon. I'm going to put a link below to the video where I explain how you play this game, but if you watch us play it here, I'll kind of talk through it and show you. Basically, in the two-player, you have to decide whether you're going to be represent the sun and the moon. So in this case, I will represent the sun. You have these cards here. This is level 1, level 2, and level 3. There's less level 3 cards than level 2, less level 2 cards than level 1, because level 1 is easier to accomplish, right? Because from my perspective, and this is important in this game, I have to look at this little 3x3 square here and set up one of these elements. It has to be the same element. So like here, you know, in this little, you know, I realize it's a 5x5 board, but you know, within this 5x5 board, there's many little 3x3 sections, and that's what you're going to look at here. And you're going to have to create that with one of these elements, okay? Whether you pick wood or water or wind, it doesn't matter, to accomplish this exact configuration from your perspective and my perspective here, in this case, yellow. I'm going to always be looking at yellow. The opponent's always going to be looking at green. Now, it only matters whether you use, because for instance, in this card, as you can see there, it says wood, right? So if you accomplish this with the wood, you can accomplish it with any element, but if you accomplish it with wood element, that means that when I capture this card, I do the magic, and I'll go through that in just a second, and then I put it here where it says captured with source, the source here being wood. So if I match this with wood, I put it on this side because it's more points, right? If I capture it without source, then it's less points. As you can see here, 3 points without source, 5 points with source, you know. So anyway, let's begin. You want to start, or should I? You start. So the first thing you got to do is the first thing you do is swap. Right here's the order summary. You swap one element token with another, and then if you manage to create a position, you collect a yokai card, and then you do the magic. So there it is for green. From the opponent's perspective, wind. Okay, so that was captured without source. So it's going to be the lesser score, right? It's going to be a 1. It would have been a 2 had the opponent here captured with source. And there it is, wind. And the source here was what? Wood, right? So that, but it was captured with wind. You got to do the magic. What was the magic on there? We didn't do the magic. It says flip earth token. So any earth token, you got to flip it over. Some of these will be void, and some will be wind. I mean wind. Void or wild. It could be a wild element. It can be used for anyone. So now it's my turn. Again, these are easier than these. You know, I'm always going to look for the possibility of doing the higher score ones. But I don't see anything here for this. This is possible, but I won't be able to do it this turn by swapping 2 elements. How about this? This I already have. Even though the element is earth, I have it here in fire, right? If you can see that. From my perspective, I already have that in this little 3x3 square here. So you can, you know, if you're fortunate, since I already have this, I'm going to capture this card, but maybe I can capture, you know, 2 cards or even 3 cards if I manage to have all the configurations on there from my perspective. But I don't. I don't see that. So I'm just going to swap 2 other elements just to kind of maybe start setting myself up for one of the other ones, maybe this one. So I will swap this fire with this wind here, because I'm already setting up for this for the next turn. I just need a fire up here. But for now, I captured this. So that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is do the magic, which is flip a water token for this. So I'm going to take this water token and flip it over. There's a wild. Remember I told you about that. And when you begin your turn and you have to swap two elements, you can never touch a wild or a void. Okay. Okay, so I captured that, but I captured it without source. So because I used fire rather than earth, so I put it on this side. So we're tied 1-1. Anyway, so that's it. Go ahead. I like the art. It's cool. It's a cool game. I've really enjoyed playing this. And I'm gonna do a solitaire video here as well. Not on this video, on a following video, so you can see how the solitaire is played. So again, the first thing the player does, as the turn order summary here says, is to swap an element token with another. Very puzzly game. There's another match. Was that without source again? Oh, you got to do the magic. That's the. Oh, it was to flip a fire token. Okay. Okay, now it's my turn. So now we got two wilds here, right? I could use that. Maybe I could use that to do a more difficult one. This is great for me. The fact that this is wild doesn't matter, because on the other side it was a fire token anyway. But see this configuration? This is level 2. So this configuration here I already have, right, for this little 3x3 square. All I need to do is put another fire token up here. Now, ideally it'd be better if I did wind, because then I would capture it with source, and I would get 3 points rather than 2. But what I'm going to do, since the first thing to do is to swap two elements, I do that, and now I've managed to do this, right? As you can see there, from my perspective here. Now I do the magic, which is rotate the board 180 degrees. Now this is gonna screw up everything. And I captured this without source, but since it's a level 2 here, I got 2 points. Now we gotta flip the board 180 degrees. So that just changes the orientation of everything. So if my opponent here was planning anything, it's been destroyed. All right. There's a different pieces of magic here. You can rotate 4, to the right or left. You just choose 4 and flip them, turn them like a wheel. Either clockwise or counterclockwise, however you want. Rotate the board like we just did. Turn all the voids facing the original way again, or just one void, because as we play, sometimes other voids will come up, and the voids, you can't do anything with them. You can't use them as part of a configuration. You can't move them. You can't do anything unless magic flips them back over. Yep, and the wild. You got that. Was that with? That was without source. Yeah. Because the source was earth, and you did it with water. So now you flip a water. Now there's another void there. Yeah, I mean, in this game, you I mean, I was fortunate to be able to do level 2. Level 3 is harder, as you can see here. I don't see anything that I could use right away for level 3 from my perspective here. Let's see. I can do this with fire, so I would capture this with source. by just, because see this fire, I need to move that fire over here. Oh no, wait. No, I need to move that fire over here, and then I would have that figure, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for that. So there you go. You see that? On this little 3x3, I captured that. It is fire, so I captured it with source. That means I'm going to be getting the 2 points. What's the magic? Flip a wind token. So I captured this with source, so I put it on this side. Now, flip a wind token. So I just got to grab any of the wind tokens here and just flip it over, and I guess I'll use this one. And there you have another void. Now it's my opponent's turn, but my opponent just left the table. So we'll wait a moment. But yeah, I mean, it's an easy game. The you know, not a difficult game to play at all. Very easy, a lot of fun, and you'll see how it's played here. The instruction pamphlet here is really easy to understand. You got the illustrations there, which are pretty clear, you know, explaining the different things and the definitions there, how you win the game, how you set it up, you know, what's on every card here. It's pretty cool. And then solo instructions as well. Okay, my opponent's turn. And the game's over when one of these piles is empty, is exhausted. Like I said earlier, there's less level 3 cards than level 2 cards, and less level 2 cards than level 1 cards. You have more level 1 cards because we tend to use them more, but you always try to get level 2 or 3 because you're getting more points, right? With source, like this one, with source 5 points. Without source, 3 points. So I have 5 points against 3 points over there. So I'm ahead right now. But really, at this point in the game, it doesn't mean anything because a lot can happen here still. And by the way, if you cannot match something, then that's fine. You just, you know, you do what you can do here in your turn order. You swap. You just swap 2 pieces. If you don't match anything, that's fine. You just swap, and then it's your opponent's turn. You know, but most of the time you'll be able, especially, you know, with a couple of wilds in there. Most of the time, you know, the level 1. Most of the time you'll be able to do something. Now sometimes there'll be a bunch of voids. You know, it's just we have 3 here. These 3, but sometimes you'll have more voids, which makes it difficult to do things. So sometimes you just have to swap 2 elements, and you don't get to capture a yokai, you know. It's a wonderful little game. Doesn't take a lot of space on the table. And as a solo game, it's a nice puzzle game. And you got incredible variability here, right? Because these discs are going to be mixed in the beginning and then just dropped randomly in there. And then you shuffle these and pop them in there. So it's you have a tremendous amount of different combinations. You never know which ones are going to be coming up in what order here. So there's a lot of variability here as a 2-player game or as a solitaire game. And there's the swap, which is the first thing you do on your turn. You're gonna, no, see, I was just talking about that. There's nothing the opponent could do, so now it's my turn. They just swap 2, and in that case, they may swap 2 that may make difficult for me, right, to make some kind of combination. So again, I'm going to be looking first at these higher level cards, And by the way, you can tell, right? Level 2, so you'll get all the level 2 cards and shuffle them together. These will say level 3 and level 1. So I'm looking at this. I don't see anything, so I could try to set up for it in the future. This may be doable because I have. Yeah, it's not going to be doable this turn because even though I have Earth and a Wild, I don't have 2 Earth. If I had 1 Earth here, I would just swap another one into position and be able to accomplish that. This one may be easier for me because in this 3x3 area here, I have a Wild, and therefore I just need to swap out either a fire or a water. The element there is wind, right? So I'm probably going to capture this without source and then just make 1 point. But that's okay, you know, little by little you start gathering points. But that's what I'm going to do. I just have to decide whether I'm going to swap out a water or a fire. And then, let's, you know, listen, you can spend a lot of time thinking about this. So what I'm going to do is swap this fire here with this water. Now I have, because that's Wild, I have that exact configuration there. So I capture this, and the magic is flip a wood token. So I just, there's a wood right there. I'll take this corner one, and that happens to be another Wild. And because I captured it without source, it goes on this side, the lower point. Yeah, wind in the Wild there. And is that a wind? No, that's a wood, so you captured without source. What's the magic on there? Flip an earth tile. And that's another void. You see what I'm talking about? Now we have 4 voids and 3 wilds on the board. The wilds are always helpful. No, but yeah. And this is another thing about the game. You can never capture 2 from the same pile, right? Because she was just pointing out that she has another match here with that configuration, but she's already captured a card from this pile. You cannot capture another card from the same pile. You could capture a card from, you know, level 1 here, and you can capture one from level 2, and if you're able to, if you have all 3 of these configurations on the board, you could capture all 3 after, you know, doing 1 swap, but not from the same pile. So that's my turn. What am I going to do here? Again, I'm looking at trying to capture higher value here, which I can't do this one. Not this turn. Maybe that. No, again, I have the same problem with the 2 earth here. But what could I do? Wood, same problem. I don't think I can do this one either. I can try setting it up for the next turn, but I can't do it now. This, of course, will be easier, much easier to do, because I have, in this 3x3 here, I have a wild and water. Even though it'd be nicer if I could do it with wind, I can't do it with wind. Well, I could swap this out. Let me see. No, I don't have a wind here. So here I have wild, water, and I just need to swap a water into here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap these 2. I could swap any, right? Any 2, except the voids and the wilds. I can't touch those. But I managed to do this right there. Wild, water, and water. So I managed to do that, but it's not the correct element, so I'm going to, again, capture it without source, which is 1 point. And the magic here is to flip a wood token. I'm going to flip this wood token down here, and that's a wild. So again, I capture this without source. I put it in here. So you do it like this so you can see your points, right? Right now I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I have 7 points. Right. And just capture that one. Okay. No, you only captured one.
No, wait.
Well, you already swapped, right? I was looking at this. You swapped.
Yeah. It was this one, and this one for this one.
Right. So, with one swap, managed to capture 2 cards. So the way this works is that you look at the magic for the first card swap, which is to flip a void token. So any of these void tokens can be flipped back, and that's the one. And then the other magic is what? Flip a wind token, and that becomes a wild. Now, were these captured without source? Both of those? Okay. So they go on one side of the... And you accumulate points like this until one of these piles is exhausted. Like, there's one more card left, so if I happen to do this one, the game's over. Because as soon as you exhaust one of the piles, the game's over. So I think we're going to end the game right now. I look at her score, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 7. I have 4. I have 7. So if I capture this, I'm going to have 8 and I'm going to win. Okay? And this is super easy because I have 2 wilds. Oh no, actually, yeah. So in this 3x3 square, there's 2 wilds there and a fire right here. So that's going to be a fire capture. So I can just swap any 2. I'll swap. And another rule for swapping is I can't swap back the last 2 that my opponent swapped. So if my opponent had switched these 2, I can't then switch them back, right? But most of the time, you don't even care to do that. But because there's these 2 wilds and a fire right here in this configuration, I match that. So I'll just swap like this earth here and this water, which doesn't matter. I capture this, I flip a fire token, which again, doesn't matter. I'll flip this fire token here because the game ends right now. And I put it here. And the game ends immediately because that was exhausted. And 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 points, and my opponent has 7 points. So the game's over, and I win. And it's such a cool game. I enjoy it. Puzzly, and it's called Madoshi, Priests of the Sun and Moon by DPH Games. It's just very cool, and this box is cool too. Look at this. Right? And these are some of the other DPH games right there, but nice little magnet box. Attractive game, cool game. Go get one.